It's August 9th, JLD here, and welcome to MSTR today. In this show, we're going to talk about all things MSTR. We're going to talk about Bitcoin. We're going to talk about an incredible bullish ending to 2025 here as things are just looking fantastic, in my opinion. Of course, nothing is financial advice. Do your own research. Please hit that like button to support the channel. And let's dive on into Michael Saylor, who went looking for gold and he found something better. What could Michael Saylor possibly have found that's better than gold? A little something called Bitcoin. Thank you, Michael Saylor. Anthony Pompliano, somebody who I listen to pretty much on a daily basis, love his stuff, love what he's doing with ProCap. He says the money printer is coming. BRR, as in Burr. There's Jerome Powell just printing that dollar because it is an incredibly non-scarce asset. Unlike Bitcoin, which, as we both know, is completely scarce. And that's a little hat tip to his own stock, BRR, which I am an investor in as well. Big fan of what he's doing over there with ProCap. Bitcoin Archive says, just in, Bitcoin whales are buying at an unprecedented pace. Higher prices are coming soon. And all I got to say is the whales typically know something that most other people do not. So when I see the whales, what I consider smart money, what I consider insider money, the Cantillon effect, however you pronounce that, that's what the whales are. They're closest to the source of knowledge. They're closest to the source of truth. So when they are going ballistic like this and buying at an unprecedented pace, as you can see, and they are just doing that, to me, all signs point higher. And Adam wants us to take the orange pill. I mean, we have two choices: dirty fiat or the orange pill. And I think you know where I'm going to be on that equation. Bitcoin Archive says higher Bitcoin prices are inevitable. I mean, look at the available capital that's here. It's literally just no cap to the available capital. There is no cap to available capital. And it all comes down to this pinprick of available Bitcoin. And you can see the Bitcoin's filling up quick. As Michael Saylor says, we have less than 10 years left on the Bitcoin digital gold rush. And you get to be alive during this. I get to be alive during this. And we get to ride on the Michael Saylor strategy, Fong Lee and company train. Choo choo. Nothing stops this train. We are going higher. Because Michael Saylor says Wall Street, it's not purple. It's not green. It's not red. It's not blue. Wall Street is orange. Here we go. Gives me a little vertigo even just looking at that. Love it. Love it. The Bitcoin therapist says, what do you notice about this number? And this is strategy. The MNAV is 1.71. Well, what I notice, and what I think Bitcoin therapist wants us to notice, is that the MNAV is way below, not just below. It's way below 2.5. That means Michael Saylor, Fong Lee, and his team are going to be hitting the ATM 0 times until the MNAV gets to 2.5 or higher. Then it'll be opportunistically from 2.5 to 4, and then they'll be aggressive from 4 and above. So that'll be a strategy around $600, around $615, give or take. So we have a lot of climbing to do with no ATM being hit. So let's hang on for this ride. Wanted to dive into this right here because it's always good to end with some Michael Saylor words because this is Saylor's endgame, Bitcoin. Few understand it. So here's Michael Saylor himself. This is the most valuable asset in the world. The end game is to be the leading Bitcoin bank or merchant bank, or you could call it a Bitcoin finance company, Saylor said. If we end up with 20 billion of converts, 20 billion of preferred stock, 10 billion of debt, and say 50 billion of some kind of debt instrument and structures instrument, we'll have 100 to 150 billion of Bitcoin. The company trades at 50% premium with more volatility in ARR. We can build a company that's 100% premium and to 150 billion worth of Bitcoin and build a $300 to $400 billion company with the biggest options markets, the biggest equity markets, and then we basically start to chew into the fixed income markets and we just keep buying more Bitcoin. Bitcoin is going to millions of coin, and then we create a $1 trillion company. And by the way, I'm going to be on board when strategy passes the $1 trillion mark. I will be on board when it crosses the $5 trillion mark. I will be on board when it passes NVIDIA as a market cap. I will be on board when it crosses a $10 trillion market cap, because I am in this for the long game myself. And I have a fantastic video of Michael Saylor coming right up. I hope you enjoy. PayPal just made it official. They're letting US merchants accept Bitcoin. That's not just a news story, it's a sign of where things are going. And it raises a critical question. If the world is shifting toward Bitcoin, are you doing enough to participate? Because here's a powerful way to go further: convert an old 401k or IRA into a crypto IRA with the help of Bit IRA. Bit IRA will help you convert it free of taxes or penalties. And here's why you'll love them: end-to-end insurance, highly secure storage, multi-encryption, and registered with the US government. And it's fully IRS compliant. Best of all, you can trade crypto within your retirement account without taxes incurred on any buys or sells. If you already put money into an IRA or employer-sponsored 401k on a regular basis, why not invest into a Bitcoin IRA each month? Just go to bitira.com/JLD and request a free info guide. Once you do that and open your IRA, you'll get a free ledger. Again, that's bitira.com/JLD to open a tax-sheltered IRA in Bitcoin.
So-called digital asset treasury firms have announced plans to raise a combined $79 billion so far in 2025 just for Bitcoin purchases, according to advisory firm Architect Partners. But that trend is expanding into smaller tokens as well. And I'm pleased to say that joining us now is Strategy Executive Chairman Michael Saylor. So, Michael, it feels like, of course, MicroStrategy, strategy as it's now known, really started this crypto treasury company trend that we're seeing now. I know that you broadly are supportive of seeing that, seeing competitors come out and also raise their own crypto treasuries. But how do you feel about the trend that now it's moving more into altcoins? It's moving away from Bitcoin. Do you think that that's a sustainable setup?
I still think the vast majority of the capital flowing into the space is flowing into Bitcoin. We've gone from about 60 companies capitalizing on Bitcoin to 160 companies just in the past 6 months. So I'm laser-like focused on Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin is digital capital. I think it's going to outperform the S&P index over the indefinite future. And I think it's the clear global monetary commodity in the world right now. So it's the lowest risk, highest return, most straightforward strategy if you want to outperform the S&P and if you want to inject vitality and performance into your balance sheet.
So it sounds like you're not concerned that perhaps the fact that we're seeing these other digital asset treasury companies come to the fore here, expand into altcoins, you're not concerned that that's going to detract attention away from what strategy is doing?
I think there's an explosion of innovation across the entire crypto economy, and on the margin, it's really good for everybody in the digital asset space right now. I think the big idea is $100 trillion plus of capital in the traditional equity capital markets and traditional credit markets. And what we're focused on is delivering digital asset-backed equity and digital asset-backed credit. And I think those credit instruments and equity instruments are just going to outperform the traditional fiat credit and traditional fiat equity instruments all around. And capital is going to flow into the digital economy due to that.
Michael, explain the assets, the unique assets to which you offer investors access, because it's not just Bitcoin treasury company. You have, you think, a unique selling point compared to others trying that strategy.
Yeah, the real compelling idea of a Bitcoin treasury company is we hold a huge stack of Bitcoin, about $74 billion worth of Bitcoin. Bitcoin's a 21-year duration asset. You got to hold it for 21 years if you want the full potential. And it's about 50 vol and 50 ARR. Most people don't want that amount of volatility, even though it's got that performance. And who wants to wait 21 years? So what we've done is we've created structured Bitcoin in the form form of strike, STRK. We give you the Bitcoin upside, a guaranteed dividend, and principal protection, and that's an alternative for people that don't want the roller coaster. We've created a long duration senior credit instrument called Strife. Think of it as a 21-year Bitcoin-backed bond. Pays about 8.5% dividend yield right now for people that just want that quarterly dividend yield and a seniority in the capital structure. And then you've got a high yield long duration instrument called Strife. It's actually paying like 11.5% dividend yield right now. And so that's for people that want high yield forever. And they'd rather have 11% quarterly than take that's guaranteed than the roller coaster of Bitcoin. And then the most exciting thing we've done just a few weeks ago, it's the biggest IPO of the year. It's called Stretch, STRC. And STRC is like a monthly Bitcoin-backed bill. And so think of it as a Bitcoin alternative to treasury bills or money market funds. It's 9% dividend yield, monthly cash pay. And if you just want to park short-term cash and get paid 9% dividends and have it powered by Bitcoin, you're not taking duration risk on the interest rate. You're not taking the Bitcoin volatility. And that's our most successful offering to date.
Well, Michael, I do want to talk a little bit more about your financing. You touched on it a little bit. One of the other trends that you've started is issuing convertible notes to fund your Bitcoin purchases. You've also been issuing preferred stock as well. When it comes to just straight MicroStrategy shares, we know that's very popular with retail. We know convertible notes have been popular with more of the Wall Street crowd. Do you have any insight on who the end buyer of your preferred stock is?
Well, right now we've had really extraordinary demand from retail. In our last offering, I mean, we started with about 30 or 40 million of retail demand on the first preferred, and then it increased to 60 million on the second preferred, and then 120 million on the third preferred, and about 600 million on the fourth preferred. So retail's off the charts. We've also got a lot of institutional long investors, people that are holding it. Look, if you like Bitcoin or if you like MSTR, these are all pretty compelling for any pool of capital you've got. And then, of course, a bunch of hedge funds also got very excited about this. There's lots of different ways to trade these against each other. So a good mixture of institutional as well as retail investors buying into all these preferreds.
And Michael, I'd also love to get your thoughts on some of the other big news from today. A lot has certainly happened on this Friday, but one of those is what's going on in the gold market right now. You have the Trump administration ruling that gold bars will be subject to tariffs as well, these reciprocal tariffs. So imports of gold will be tariffed. And that's really sending shockwaves through the gold ecosystem. Gold and Bitcoin are also often compared to one another. Bitcoin called digital gold, for example. I wonder if you think this has any ripple effects, positive or negative, for Bitcoin.
It does. Bitcoin is digital gold. It's going to accelerate the migration of capital from physical gold to digital gold. Bitcoin lives in cyberspace, no tariffs in cyberspace. The big appeal of Bitcoin is it's not physical. It doesn't have weight. You can settle anywhere with anybody in a few minutes. And so gold has always been too heavy, too slow, and you can't really ship it across an ocean. And if you do, now you're getting tariffs. So I really think it just reminds everybody why the digital version of gold is better than actual physical gold. And I think it's going to catalyze a new wave of institutional adoption of Bitcoin.
All right. Crypto is stateless. It's hard to tariff. Michael, have to leave it there. Really enjoyed speaking with you, though. That is Strategy Executive Chairman Michael Saylor.
What's the second best? There is no second best.